Our guest for today is Umang Chaudhary, originally from Haryana in northern India. Umang moved to the US for his master's degree. He has since lived in Massachusetts and Austin, Texas, and is now based in Seattle. And something very interesting about him is that he runs a page called Umang Abroad, where he interviews immigrants in the US about their lives and their master's study experiences. So lots to unpack here. Umang, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You completed your undergrad at VIT.
Mm-hmm.
And did you join the job market at all, or did you immediately go for your master's?
In VIT, we had to pick like either one option. So either we sit for the placements or we apply for study abroad universities.
Okay.
So I had to take that very tough call that I would not be sitting for the placements. Even though placements in VIT are one of the top in in India.
Yeah.
I had to leave that and I couldn't sit for placements. I just put all my cards into like applying in US and Canada for the universities.
So then what was the final nail in the coffin for you to decide that I am going to go abroad?
I came to the US actually once before that in 2010 in Chicago.
Okay.
To visit my distant family for a month. My parents were like, just send me with my granddad and just explore US.
Yeah.
So when I landed in Chicago, outside of the airport, I saw all the flags there.
Yeah.
And the air was so clean, sky was so blue.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I just want to stay in the US. I love this place.
Yeah.
That time I was in 8th grade. So since then it was in my mind that I have to go to US at some point.
Yeah.
But when I chose this 11th, 12th like non-medical stream and like IIT journey, no one else around me who knew about undergraduate admissions in the US. And I just knew that it was going to take a lot of money, which my parents did not have.
Sure.
So I was like, I will take that on me once I join an undergrad college.
Yeah.
I will do all the research by myself. Understand about the US universities, about the advanced programs.
Yeah.
That is how it was in my mind that, okay, yes, I have to go abroad, like experience, go out of my circle here and do something for my family too.
When I was in 11th grade, we did a trip here and we went to the Stanford campus.
Oh, wow.
And that is what completely inspired me to like try to come here for my undergrad. And thankfully my parents were able to afford it, and it's an incredible privilege.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for it because it shaped me as a person to spend 4 years here. As in undergrad,
Definitely.
You become a lot more Americanized. You pick up a lot of habits. Like my college football smack game is really strong as a result. And I went to Austin, Texas for UT Austin, which is, in my opinion, is the best college in America. Because everything that's academically better, the sports are terrible.
UT Austin was my number one preference.
Yeah.
For my master's applications.
Yeah.
I did not apply to Stanford or MIT.
And computer science is amazing at UT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like much cheaper. It's like
of course, the public university.
The tuition is very less. Obviously because it's also Texas.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have like very high quality education. The ranking is in top 5 or top 10 colleges in the US.
We were talking about applying to the US. Did you use one of those academic counselors who have an office in the mall, or did you do all the work by yourself like you intended to?
I did all my work by myself. So I went to US News. I saw the top 100 universities in the ranking.
Yeah.
I went to each of theirs like program pages. I understood the requirements.
Yeah.
I understood like what is the eligibility.
Yeah.
And checked everything and then saw like, okay, these are the ones that like fit my like area. I saw the tuition. I saw like everything basically, and then I compared everything, which one fits my budget, my goals, my city, like preferences. And then I made a small list, and then I made an even smaller list.
Sure.
And that is how I filtered it down.
And how many of those did you get into?
I got into 4 of them. So I applied to 19 universities, 12 dream colleges, I think 6 like medium range colleges, and 1 was safe.
Okay. What was the safe one?
Safe one was UIC, and I got an admit from the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Were there any cultural shocks that you experienced?
First day that I like landed in the US, it was that time in JFK. And we had like a tie-up with the Indian Student Association. So they just set up a bus.
Yeah.
And they just picked us from New York.
A whole bus, eh?
Yeah. So, and I was going through like that 2-hour journey, and everywhere it was like dried out for some reason. It was like very big forest area throughout the journey. I was like, where am I going?
Yeah.
How far is that town? It's like, it doesn't seem like a city to me.
Yeah.
It seems like so much inside the US. I don't know like how the life will be.
Yeah.
But luckily I had done my homework in terms of like finding a housing, knowing like where to get all the stuff from Facebook marketplaces. So I had like some people, I had like talked to them. So a lot of people were there to help me, and it was manageable. I had to do a lot of stuff by myself. For example, like also cleaning the dishes, making food. All of that was for the first time because in India, even if you're living in hostel, like there's a meal service, there is laundry service also. But here you had to do everything by yourself. So it was definitely a lot of different things, sort of new things. But I think I got used to it pretty quick.
Did you have any Canadian universities in mind, or it was just US?
Yeah, so I applied at 6 of the Canadian universities. So I think all the top 6. There's another funny story there. So obviously I got a fully funded admit from University of Alberta, which I didn't choose and picked US. But on top of that, once I had gotten my US visa, I had done all the paperwork, got my I-20, got the US visa stamped in my passport.
Yeah.
After that, I get my admit from University of Waterloo for the MSCS program. Like there, it's called the MMath CS program.
Yeah.
That's one of the top schools around the globe, basically. Yeah. But then I was like, okay, I'm all set for US now. I was still double thinking at that time, but still I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go with the US. I'll drop that too. Because I always wanted to come to the US.
Any other funny incidents from your first couple of weeks, like getting used to the culture there?
So I took a class about like ML systems. I was initially so passionate about going to that class, like learning about large scale ML implementation and stuff. So for first few weeks, I sat in the first row, and then I was like, yes, I'm understanding some stuff. But then eventually the things like started like going over my head. Maybe the professor was also not able to explain that well. He was a great researcher, but probably not a great teacher. But then there was this guilt in my head that I'm paying so much for every class. I can't miss any class. But eventually I just kept going back from front row to second row to third row to the last row. And then I finally decided that, okay, I should not even go to this class. I'm wasting my time. I can maybe spend that time towards my application prep for my internship or do some other stuff, and I can just get a manageable grade for this.
After you graduated, what happened next?
So after I graduated, I actually got a job in Amazon because I interned at Amazon during my summer of 2020 during the COVID time. And then like those 1 to 2 months passed, I was like, I don't want to stay in the same team because my interest was always in machine learning and my internship was not in the machine learning space. So when you get a full-time offer from Amazon, you eventually like get into the same team. So I was like, I just want to go out because I had like some experience of ML beforehand. So I wanted to join an ML team. So then I gave internal offers because Amazon inside, it's like an entire like job portal. You have like a lot of teams, sort of basically orgs that are hiring. So you just apply internally and then I got an offer for MLE role.
So you changed teams?
Yeah, so I changed teams. I joined Prime Video as a machine learning engineer and I was given a choice to choose Seattle or Austin. For some reason, I never wanted to go to Seattle because I knew that it would be a tech vibe. I knew the culture. I wanted to experience more of the American culture, you know. Where I see like people from more like different backgrounds, like having different personalities and having like different interests. So I always like found Austin as like one of those cities. And I wanted to experience that. With like no brainer, it was like I just chose Austin and I just moved there. Took a 1-bed apartment by myself there and like started my new life.
Did you enjoy your time in Austin eventually?
When I moved into the Austin, one of the first instances was like I did not have Wi-Fi for like first 2-3 days. So I just went to the neighbors and I was like, hey, can I get Wi-Fi for next 2-3 days? Because I'm just waiting on it. So he was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, oh, you are a new neighbor. So yeah, let's just go out for lunch. And I was like, sure, let's just hang out. And then when we went to like check out and stuff, he was like, I got it. Welcome to Austin. So these like small gestures and like those relationship building things that happened with me in Austin was like amazing. Like I knew my neighbors. Even on the right side, on the upstairs, people were like super friendly. I loved my time in Austin. I mean, I actually went to UT Austin, so which was my dream to go to, but I did not like obviously join a program there. I joined a dance club. It was a Bhangra dance club. Bhangra is a traditional like Punjabi dance, folk dance. So I joined that team. I learned Bhangra there.
What was that team called?
It was Texas Bhangra.
Yeah, they were around when I went to college there. I think.
Yeah, it's established team since 1991. So that was fun. And then I did like different stuff like bachata classes in Austin. There were like a lot of fun offsites that I had because during COVID, like we were meeting quarterly with our like team. So our team used to come from Seattle to Austin. And we used to go to like different restaurants like Oasis, which is by the lake. And then when my mom visited in Austin, I took her to a lot of places like kayaking on the Lady Bird Lake. I just felt like that friendly vibe from like people who were living there. So that vibe I still miss in Seattle.
Then what brought you to sunny Seattle?
It was just the money.
Okay. What were your first impressions of Seattle then?
In Seattle also, I knew that I don't want to live in a place where it's like more tech vibe.
Yeah.
So I chose a place which is welcoming, has a more lively vibe, which is the U district. So I lived around there because I had been in Seattle like on business trips before with Amazon.
Yeah.
So I had explored Seattle. I had explored all
Okay.
the main places during the summers
Yeah.
and everything. So I knew the place pretty well. But obviously I had to like travel a lot more now
Yeah.
using like the transport buses to go to my office,
Sure.
which was in Bellevue.
Yeah.
So it used to take me 30 minutes bus ride to come to the office.
Yeah. You mentioned about Southern friendliness / hospitality. How are East and West Coast different culturally?
I think here we have a lot more like Asian and Indian population. And I personally feel that a lot of like Asian groups, they stay with themselves. It can be a gender statement. I feel like Seattle is a place if you already have a community,
Yeah.
you can just stay with them. You
Yeah.
can just integrate with them and
Yeah.
like spend time with them. But it's not a great place to be a first generation immigrant and like make new friends here if
Yeah.
you're not in a university.
Okay.
So whereas Austin or like some other cities
Yeah.
are more immigrant friendly in that way.
Yeah. I will give you a counterpoint to this.
Okay.
So we went to Vancouver. We knew one person in all of Canada. And when we moved here, I had 2 close friends. I had some Amazon acquaintances. When we went in the tech circles, we were out of place because I'm from a real estate / finance background. My wife is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So we very quickly realized that you can have your core group of Indian friends who are like you, but you need to diversify your network.
Yes.
Diversification could be in terms of ethnicity and like nationality, but also in terms of tenure that they have been here. Most people in the master's program who then move here 10, 15 years at my age, and also diversity in terms of what their professions are.
Yeah.
So your experience into a city can be completely different based on which network or which ecosystem you're plugging into.
True.
So in Vancouver, we made sure we don't plug into the Surrey ecosystem,
Yeah.
which is everybody's a new immigrant. They all
Yeah.
have a shared experience.
Yeah.
They're all struggling. They're not really moving to Canada in a way. They're
Yeah.
moving to mini India.
Yeah.
So we were part of the board of trade. We were part of the London Business School Alumni Association. We joined a few startup accelerators as mentors.
Nice.
And I was on a board of a charity there, advisory board. So we did the same thing when we moved here.
Okay.
So I joined the Rainier Club in downtown, which is like a private social club. I'm part of Business Networking International, which has local Issaquah network of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And now I'm also advising some startups at Seattle University.
Nice.
So that has kind of made our group so diverse. And so it's really, and I completely agree with you that these little Indian bubbles are very, very closed.
Yeah.
And if you get in, it'll be a group of tight-knit friends. But then that's not all you're here for.
I agree.
Right? So that's where this strategy of ours has worked very well.
Yeah.
Because we realized very early on that the onus is on us and not the people who live here.
No, I totally
Right?
agree.
Because when I lived in Bombay, I was 4th generation Bombay, 100 and something years in the city. I don't go to reach out to new immigrants from Jaipur and Hyderabad saying, hello, how can I help you?
Yeah.
They have to come to me and show me value in knowing them because I don't need another friend.
That's also true.
Yeah. So when we started doing that, started reaching out to people and said, well, this is our global experience. We've lived in all these cities. We have global network.
Yeah.
How can we help you? And that has cemented it and broken the ice and made it much easier to build diverse networks. Indian networks, you keep on building that. It's pretty effortless that way. But I've seen, and I also agree that Seattle is way more closed off in these little groups than a lot of other cities.
Yes.
But the answer to that is to plug into these diverse.
I agree.
networks.
So, for example, if I give you like when I came to Seattle, I joined like similar dance like classes here too.
Exactly.
I went to bachata. I went to like hip hop classes. I tried a lot of like different stuff.
Yeah.
But that vibe or like that community feeling, that enjoyment in those classes, here it was much more serious.
Yeah.
Whereas there you could feel like enjoyment and like more carefree nature of people. So that part is what I'm talking about, which is like much more like missing here, and which also comes in the way of like easily gelling with people.
Yeah, I think you ease up naturally when your rent isn't $4,000 a month.
Yeah, that's also true.
And and I've found a lot of people here are constantly in this visa stress. I had the same thing when I moved here.
Yeah.
In Canada, I was a permanent resident and then a citizen. I didn't have to worry about leaving the country if I lose my job. So that was something that drove me to then go back into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But I feel like people here are stressed about high cost of living, the constant like sword on their head that we could get laid off anytime and therefore have to leave.
That's true.
Not able to leave the country for the stamping reasons.
Yeah.
All of that. So I think that's a good segue to go into Umang Abroad. So what made you start it, and give us like a short primer on what exactly are your objectives with it?
Yeah.
And how the journey has been.
Yeah, so Umang Abroad was my gateway to project real experiences of immigrants in the US to someone who is back in, let's say, India or like any other like developing nation who wants to pursue their dream of like studying in the US, working in the US.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they get misguided by consultants.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give them a real picture of people who are living here, who have studied here, who are now working here.
Yeah.
So that they can easily relate, okay, yes, 5 years down the line, this is what my life can be. This is how much I can earn. This is how much I can save. So for example, if someone is studying in master's program here and they regret about something they did not do during their master's, which is usually their last degree of the life. So they can learn from those regrets right now.
Of course.
And they do not have to repeat the same mistakes once they come here. They can be more prepared, more aware, more proactive before they even come to the US.
Totally.
So that is my whole mission of Umang Abroad.
Nice.
And that is why I also do not give a lot of like my personal bias to all of these interviews. It's just like a natural way for them to share their realness to them.
You might have somebody who will say, oh, I hate this country. I've never I never should have come here. Don't come here. Like you could potentially get that.
I've gotten them.
You have
gotten them.
Yeah.
I've posted those as it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes they also like feel, okay, I don't want to like talk about it probably because it's a negative experience. I'm like, I want to hear that. I want to share that with the people.
Yeah.
So please tell me that.
Off late, this year specifically, with the Trump administration being around, have you felt any hesitation among people to voice their opinions?
Yes. People are more hesitant to share in general and are not willing to also like interview a lot more.
Yeah.
So that is definitely there.
So you also have something called Advance Abroad. So tell us more about that.
This is like a small community that I have like recently started.
Yeah.
The main goal again for this community is to, first of all, like if someone who wants to study and work abroad, support them. And then secondly is like anyone who is here, how can they be in the top 1%? Because if you are being average in the US, then probably this is not a place for you.
Sure.
You have to work hard. You have to stay above average. You have to navigate your visa situation. So there's a lot of areas that you can optimize your life into. Like even when you are as a student, how you can pick your universities, how you can pick your courses, how you can get good internships. And then once you have even graduated, how you can navigate your work life here, how you can navigate your visa situation, how you can like get a position in another company. So there's a lot of ways that you can navigate your life here optimally and be above average. So that is the whole goal of this community, that you have to advance abroad. You just don't have to stay at what you are currently and don't have to be pessimistic, but keep on reaching to more heights and keep on progressing with your life in the US as an immigrant.
You mentioned optimize your visa. So I know that one way to fast track it is to obviously come in as an L1A and be on the EB1 path and get a green card faster. I know O1 is another way. We've talked about it on the show before. What are some other ways where you can optimize this?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways actually, and some of those people don't even know about. So one is O1 and then you have EB1A. These two are similar. EB1A is an immigrant visa through which basically you have an intent to stay in the US long term. And O1 is technically you don't have the intent to stay long term, but you're still an extraordinary person, so you get that. Apart from these two, even if you are, let's say, on H1B, when a company applies for your green card, that's like a typical EB2 route. But let's say like these days for last 2-3 years, the perm has been taking a lot more time. So the other best route for that is if your profile is not at the EB1 level, which is like extremely extraordinary. So you can get the EB2 NIW, which is the national interest waiver. So you just have to prove to the US that whatever you're working on is in the favor of the US. So let's say you have worked in your current company, you're earning a higher salary, you are working in the space of AI, for example, in my situation. So you are proving that you have done these contributions in the past, you have worked on few research papers. Maybe they're not at the level of EB1A right now, you don't have a lot more citations, but you still have enough credibility that you're still exceptional. And you can simply get your I-140 within like 45 days of applying.
Okay.
And you can skip the entire perm route, which takes 2 years.
Yeah.
So that is like one great way.
Okay.
There is another great way which people miss about, which is the concurrent H1B. It's not like a fast track to green card, but it's like if, let's say, you have an ambition, you want to work on something that you haven't worked on yet, and you're stuck in your primary job, you can still have another H1B alongside your primary H1B, and you can work part-time for, let's say, your own company. Starting 2025 in January, I think the Biden administration passed this rule that you can even own 100% of your company and you can still get a H1B from that. And you can still keep on working for your primary job as a full-time employee.
I think this will be an entirely different episode.
Yeah.
And we are running out of time. So I want to ask you, what's your one-line advice for new immigrants coming? And they can go to your page to learn a lot more.
One advice is that you just have to be proactive. You cannot come here thinking that you'll figure out stuff here. You don't have that much time. You have to figure out your situation. You have to figure out your studies, your job, everything here. You just have to do that homework before you come here. So just be proactive.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening to Diaspora. We hope you enjoyed hearing Umang's interesting stories and his great advice. Umang, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Aditya. It was great chatting with you.